Hey, man, you hear that?
Did I hear what?
It's the start of another EduTechGuys podcast.
What?
You're listening to the EduTech Guys. EduTechGuys.com.
Hello and welcome to the show where the music is pumped to the max.
Hey, man, we're going to get all of everything we can out of it.
Wow. I'm David Henderson.
Hey, I'm Jeff Madlock, and the guy who turned the music up too loud.
So he's got his finger on the volume control.
It's our producer in the booth, Ronnie.
Yeah. Sorry about that, man. I'm going to let it happen again.
Okay, so see, that just happens. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in, turning on, downloading, grabbing, snagging, all of the stuff this particular episode.
Yeah, and don't forget, you can always visit us on the web at edutechguys.com or just go to your facial book.
Go to your face.
Get a nice cream. Work those wrinkles out of the top there. No, you can go out to your favorite social media provider and just look up EduTech Guys.
This show suddenly took a turn.
You know, it gets exciting because we're back. You know,
we're back.
We've been real busy, and we kind of let our monthly or weekly. You know, man,
whatever it is.
That basic math really holds Jeff down by the neck and just steps on his face. Isn't it terrible?
Jeff's having a hard time grasping the basic math. This episode's going to be really rough on him.
Jeff has a hard time grasping reality half the time. I was just telling David, listen, we're coming up on our 10th-year anniversary. You've been with me this long. You just have to ride this storm out at this point.
That's exactly right.
It is what it is.
That's right.
10 years in a podcaster, that's like 12 years per year for a podcaster. So I'm 120 podcasting years old.
That's it. That's right. You're 120 podcasting years old.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we're really glad to have you on the show. We have a really exciting guest coming up with some really cool stuff. I think you're going to really enjoy. We know we are, because I was looking at, doing a little research, about it, and really cool stuff.
I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like Legos and Tinker Toys and whatever, any kind of construction stuff you can put together, and then you
and weird science and math and all the stuff that I can't do, trig and architectural design.
It is. It's going to be.
But it's
going to be
magnets
very
and
cool
stuff, and I can put stuff together. I can Lego with the best of them. So.
Right.
I can make a Chewbacca out of like every color of the rainbow. I got it down. I can do that kind of stuff. But I think you're really going to enjoy it. And hey, listen, we're glad you're on the show, and you're listening to the show. And don't forget to share us out to your peers and your students and anyone else that wants to listen, or your enemies.
Your enemies. Send us to your enemies. Listen, I'm going to torture you with these two guys.
I'm pretty excited about this because I've been thinking about architecture a lot, because I know I drive every day and I cross a couple of bridges. And that's my worst fear, is that a bridge falls, because we've lately in the news, we've had bridges that have fallen, and
you ain't lying there.
Boats have hit them and hitting them. I'm hitting them,
man, bridges.
Yeah, so you got to get that right.
Sorry, Ronnie. Anyway, so, that's one of those things. Can we cut that later, Ronnie?
You bet we can.
So, that's what we'll do. We'll cut that out there. It'll make it to tape. It'll make it to tape.
To tape. Holy crud.
Yeah, you didn't know that. This looks like a digital podcasting system, but underneath this table is a 2-inch tape system.
That's right. It's a giant reel-to-reel whirring away.
The worst part is most of the people listen to this right now going, what are they talking about? They've lost their minds.
Well, for what it's worth, they probably say that a lot anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, my God.
So thank you for sticking with us.
Thank you for hanging around. Yeah. Hey, listen, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick break and catch a little, sponsor. We don't know who it is, but I guess we'll find out when you do.
Surprise!
And we'll be right back after this. Hey, welcome back to the EduTech Guys. We're really excited to have our next guest with us, coming to us. Going to talk about some really cool stuff. We're going to let him introduce himself and tell us who he is and what he does and all that kind of good stuff. So here we go.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me here. My name is Marcio. I'm an architect from Brazil, and I've dedicated the last 20 years developing this educational product for teaching structural engineering. Basically, it's like a Lego for engineers and architects.
Nice.
Where you can simulate how real buildings bridges and all kind of structures behave through a physical model. So it's been a long journey during the development of this product.
Yeah, I was reading about it. So I have to ask this question. So let's talk about what got you into engineering. Before we jump into Mola, let's talk about you in your early life. What made you want to be an engineer and push you in that direction?
Okay. My father, he works with steel construction in Brazil. Mm-hmm. So this was already part of my life. I was seeing structures all the time. So this was something that really got me interested in. And I liked architecture, so I studied architecture. But structure was something that I really liked. And during my life as a student, this idea for Mola came to me during the structural classes, because usually it's too abstract, too complicated, too much calculations. Mm-hmm. And basically, you cannot see the structural behavior by naked eye. And during this path as a student, I started designing this model. So it was a personal need to understand better. And this is how I started working with this. Yeah.
That's really cool.
I'm curious. I don't know if you had access to what I'm about to talk to in Brazil as a child, but I think back to my childhood, and as a person who's part of Gen X, we had these girder and panel construction kits that you could buy that had like these little blue, they were blue quote steel girders. They were plastic, but there's these blue girders, and then you could attach panels, and you could build these skyscrapers, and you could build airports, whatever structures you wanted to. But you were limited to the fact that they were straight little girders with little connectors to them. And I don't know, did you have anything like that?
Not scientifically proven. So
yes, I always playing with toys, like building toys, but I have a bunch of Legos and stuff.
Yeah. Tinker toys and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Interested about.
Yeah.
And what you mentioned is exactly this. All these construction toys, they are composed by rigid bars. Mm-hmm. So you can represent the structure, but not the behavior itself. And then Mola, it's a little bit different. And one thing we call Mola, because Mola means spring in Portuguese. Okay. And we use springs to simulate the bars. So you can see, we can amplify deformations and displacements in the model, so you can visually understand what's happening. So it's basically, this is how it works. And this is the main difference about Mola and the other models, because you can see and you can feel as well, because you apply loads with your hands. So you have more interaction with physical models, which is way better to understand how buildings behave. So, but yeah, since I was a kid, I was playing with a lot of different building toys and stuff.
Well, that's one of the things that I noticed when we were looking through the website and looking at some of the kits that you have and some of the examples. And one of the ones that stands out to me, because they are built with these springs. If you have, one of the examples you show is a bridge, and it's got all the suspension and all the stuff. And, when a lot of people are thinking about building bridges, I think of school where, you had like the little toothpicks with the marshmallows or whatever, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, though, it's still pretty rigid. Well, with these spring-based kits that you guys have, it does not take much for you to start a bridge in the kind of oscillation process, and then suddenly you can see why bridges under high, whether it's wind or a ship crashes into one or whatever, and you can see what is happening to that bridge, exaggerated through your building system. It is truly unique.
Yes, and this is the main thing about Mola. It's that what we try to do, how we can show people how buildings behave under different circumstances, like different load cases. Sometimes like wind load or earthquake. And there's a lot of universities using the product to teach dynamics. It's a really abstract concept that you need to understand a lot of concepts about natural frequency of the building, resonance, and a lot of concepts based when you see those things. It's way better. It's way easier to go to the calculations and stuff. Yeah. And one thing that I like to point is that I'm never talking against calculation and all the verification, which is really important for every structure design. But Mola only adds a new step in the process, which is totally qualitative. So we just demonstrate structural behavior through qualitative analysis. We are not going to quantitative information. After that, you need to go through the whole process of verifying the structure. So this is important to make it clear when using the product. Yeah.
I think of
still
it
got to
as,
do the math.
Yeah, no, and that's
yes, exactly.
I think of it as so. I'm also a musician, so I think of it. I learned to play folk music. That's how I learned to play, by ear. And then when I got to university, then I learned the mathematics of music, and I played Bach, and I played jazz, and I played those things. This is the same thing. And I was also studying chemistry. So we could crunch the numbers, but we didn't put our hands on it till we got to the lab. And this is the thing for engineers and architects. This is the ability to take those numbers, to take those ideas, and have one more piece of the puzzle to take it to the lab and expand my understanding and thought of what I'm trying to create here. That's the way I look at it.
Perfect. Yes. And today, with all these new tools and technology that we have for making like huge calculations and different analysis for structures, if you don't understand the basics, if you don't have the fundamental knowledge, you'll be trapped in a software that's it's giving you information, and maybe you don't know the answer if that number is right or not, if it makes sense. And sometimes with this intuitive knowledge about structural behavior, it's way better to use those amazing tools that we have today, the digital stuff. So I think Mola can fit in so many different levels during education and engineering, from the first year to master courses and other applications. We have so many universities using worldwide, so many different applications that we are seeing, and it's pretty nice to see this happening.
Yeah, I can see this in early education, because I believe that people take trigonometry and people take drafting and people take that, but there's only a small percentage that love it and will move on to do that. But I believe with this kind of applications, these kind of hands-on pieces of equipment, that a second grader, you'll find that one second grader, that one 10-year-old who's going to go, this is my life's dream, and they're going to learn the math in the next 2 years, and they're going to push themselves because this is the catalyst that did it. So I understand why it might have taken you 10 years to get your first funding, but you knew in your heart of hearts this is where this was going to go.
Perfect, because I was doing this by myself because I couldn't understand all the structural classes. I'm pretty good in math. I'll do all the calculations, but I couldn't use that information to design a building. So it didn't make so much sense as an architect to understand all these calculations. So I started designing Mola for myself, so I could understand what I was seeing in the class. And I started with the wood sticks, building with some magnets, and then I realized I need a flexible material, so I started trying different things: plastic, rubber, barbecue wood sticks, everything I got in front of me. I was like making different tests until I got to the springs, which was the best material for present like big deformations, and you take the load out, it goes back to the original position, so it's working really good. And one curious about this story is that I spent the entire day working with the plastic elements, and in Brazil it's really common to have electric showers, and my shower was broke, and I need to change the resistance of the electric shower, which is a spring, the resistance. Where what heats the water when it goes through. So when I took the resistant out of the plastic bag to fix the shower, and I did like moving the spring like that, I was like, oh, maybe using the spring could be a good solution. This is when I realized that let's try making with the spring.
That's interesting.
I'm not saying this as a special thing that happened, something magical, not at all. It's more like doing things over and over again, like making a lot of mistakes until you are prepared to realize those things around
For the
you.
epiphany to happen. Exactly.
Yeah, and I found this solution because I did a lot of tests.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I would never notice.
I've never noticed it. Yeah.
And I love the fact that, how many times have you heard someone where their awesome idea, the thing that changed their lives forever, happened while they were in the shower and you were working on your shower?
For me, it was a little bit before the shower.
So that you could get into the shower.
This is the stories I love to hear. We talk to a lot of educators and a lot of creators and a lot of designers and a lot of founders and CEOs. But what I love to hear is that these are the stories that there is a child out there, hopefully, that will listen to this and they'll go, oh, I've got to keep my eye on the ball. And so to me, that's your story. Just reading your story on the website, reading your information, you kept your eye on the ball the whole time, and you kept pushing forward and kept pushing forward. So I'm getting to a point. Your team that you have now, what was it like? You get your crowdfunding. You guys had one of the largest crowdfundings in Brazil when you came on board. Yep. And then I guess you started building a team. So what was it like to find those like-minded people and build your team from there?
Yeah, it's a long journey because we didn't build a team like from one day to another.
Sure.
It goes like gradually, especially because our business, we decided to use crowdfunding to launch everything that we do. Long story short, I spent 10 years trying to find investments to make this happen. And I only funded the first product through a crowdfunding after 10 years, like talking to a lot of people, big companies, presenting this idea, and I couldn't convince anyone to put money on it. So it was, I failed all my attempts of trying to find someone, but luckily I launched this crowdfunding campaign, and this is now part of the business. Everything we do is based on our operation. So we don't have no investors. All new products, it's our community that finances everything. So this is how it works. And we are on the 4th crowdfunding campaign. And for me, it was like life-changing because I never imagined this could happen. And this is a fantastic tool because you don't need a big institution to say that you can do something or not. If you find the right people and the right community that wants that product, you can do it.
Isn't that the thing about crowdfunding too? Because not only did you get monetary investors, but you got investors who believe in what you do.
Exactly. And one thing that we realized after the first crowdfunding campaign, after we shipped the products to everyone, it worked as a pre-order, the crowdfunding. So we launched the product, say, okay, we have this kit with these pieces. If you back us, you will receive the kit later. So this is how it works. And after shipping the products for the backers, we realized that crowdfunding is way more about the crowd than the funding. Of course, you need the money to finance everything, but the community that creates around the project, it's amazing. The relationship we have with the users is totally different when someone goes to a store and buys something. And we receive a lot of emails with new ideas, new things that we need to make, and people are sharing things. So that's why we also decided to keep doing this way, because we still need the support, the financial support for new products, but we give the opportunity for the community to participate all the time. So I think this is really powerful.
Awesome. So your favorite story of the way this product was used and a change it made somewhere that really hit home with you and your team and your goals. Can you think of one off the top of your head that really hits home for you?
Can I mention 3?
Yeah, you can mention 3. Yes. No, sorry, we only have a 2. We have a 2 limit on this show.
No, so when we are designing Mola, we are always thinking about structural analysis and structural engineering in civil engineering and architecture schools, but there's so many applications. And one thing that I like to mention is that MIT is using Mola for 4 years now.
Oh, wow.
And they are using on structural dynamics class. And the final exam for the structural dynamics at MIT, they take 1 month project using Mola during this project. And this was designed by the professor that is using the product. I'm not a professor, so we designed this too, and we are learning from people how to use it. So we have seen a lot of different applications. So this is an amazing project, and that's what we try to do in our website. It's collect this information so people can replicate and use the same thing maybe MIT is using. You can do the same thing at your school.
Yeah.
And so this is an amazing development about using the product. They do a lot of analysis, like numerical analysis and physical analysis in shake tables in the lab with the structural model. And they do calculations, they compare the results. At the end, they need to build a mass damper system to minimize vibrations on the structure. So it's a complete project, which is really, really nice.
Yeah.
And we didn't design this, so that's why it's really amazing, because people are getting the tool and creating new things. And another story, which is mind-blowing, is that Apple has always been a reference for me in design. I mean, product design, industrial design, packaging, presentation, everything. And one day we realized someone from Apple had bought our product on our website. I was like, okay, this guy works at Apple. Nice. So we looked to his name on the web, and we figure out this guy is the person who has more patents at Apple history. He's a senior designer at Apple.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I can't believe this.
It's Johnny Ives. No, I'm kidding.
No, not him. But I wrote a letter on his last order and put in the box and ship it.
Yeah.
On the next day, he sent me an email saying, okay, I think the product's amazing, the design's amazing. I invite you to come to Apple Park to talk about design. So 2022, I came to San Francisco to visit Apple Park. It was for industrial design. This was the best experience I have.
Yeah.
And I found out they are using Mola at the Apple Design Studio at Apple Park to teach intuition into the engineers.
Wow.
So this is not about structure. This is not about architecture.
Yeah.
So they're using the product to teach intuition to the industrial design team. And this is, for me, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
This is an amazing story. It wasn't even my dream, so this is a fantastic one.
That's awesome. That blows my mind. I mean, that's enough to wake up every morning and go, I feel pretty good about myself. That and
this is one thing that I brought to the team, because I was saying, okay, guys, that's why we take care so much about details, and gives a lot of work, but we are on the right way. Can you see these guys are buying our product? And I brought this to the company to show everyone that, okay, we are on the right. It's an amazing validation for what we are doing.
Tremendously.
Not just about structures, but about the design, product, and packaging and everything. So
yeah, it's always amazing when you had a vision for what you wanted this to be. Of course, like you started out as a student doing this, so your vision was passing the class, right? So understanding how to pass the class. But even as you were developing Mola, and you guys had your kind of focus on the way that you envisioned it being used, and of all companies, I think it's very telling that Apple is the one or one of the ones who is using it for something that you never ever would have expected them to use it for. Because how many times has Apple been on that side of the coin where they release a product and it turns out the people are using it in ways that they never considered, and so now you are part of that fellowship with Apple, and that's absolutely amazing.
That's pretty cool. Well, and it shows that simplicity in design allows itself to be used to further ideas, just like the wheel. And think of everything that's come from the wheel. And so that's where, that's where Mola is. You created something that is not, it's simplistic in its design, but it's not simplistic in its design. It favors itself to be modified and pushed forward. That's
yeah, and this is one of the hardest part about designing the product, because it needs to be simple, and we need to teach some abstract concepts in a simple way, and this is really hard. Every new idea, it comes first with something really complex all the time, and we need to go on that and try different things until we think, okay, this is the right thing to do, because people can do it. And that's why we say you don't need technical knowledge to study structures with Mola. Anyone can start building things and understand all those principles. And this is the hardest part.
Yeah. Okay, so you're in San Francisco now because you guys had a big release last night. So let's talk about that release. Let's talk about what's next for Mola.
Okay, with Mola, we have different kits, different sets, and each set is like a Lego set. They work independently. You can start with any one you like, but they are 100% compatible. So you can add multiple sets to have more possibilities. And every new set, we introduce new components, allowing you to build different structure systems. So this is the idea. And we had Mola 1, 2, and 3, and we just launched on Kickstarter Mola 4, which we are talking about arches and shell structures. And we are adding curved springs to simulate arches, and to simulate shell structures, we are doing something really different from what we're doing, is that we add origami and folding techniques to the system. So we are adding paper and different surfaces to the system, so people can try different materials. So this is a really exciting new product that we just launched here in collaboration with the CEAONC, with the Structural Engineer Association for North California. So
that's really cool.
It was really nice. Yes.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Okay, so for our listeners, if they want to find out more, what's the best way they can get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, they can go to our website, molamodel.com. And for Mola 4, you can go to Kickstarter. And Mola Structural Kit 4, it's now live. And we have 20 days to go. So please, if you like Mola, back us now. And
yeah,
I don't know, share with everyone you think. We will share our vision, our mission to improve structural engineering education.
That's really awesome.
Yes.
So Marcio, I hope that the next time we talk, you can tell us another story that, you visited an actual structure that a student designed.
Okay.
It's coming. I mean, it's going to happen to you. You're going to, in your lifetime, you're going to say these structures were actually designed and then built because of what we did, my team and I, what I did, and what you started. So I hope when next time we talk that you're on that track.
Yes, there are some cases now. There's a engineering firm in Madrid. They won a competition to design a pedestrian bridge connecting Spain to Portugal.
Oh, wow.
It's a 300-meter span bridge connecting the two countries.
Yeah.
And they were designing a suspension system, a suspension pedestrian bridge with a curved arch. It's a really specific shape, not common. And they got in touch with us because they said, okay, we are designing this, but we want to see it, we want to touch it, and we want to understand before going further to our development. So we defined this structural model for this bridge. We shipped to them in Spain. They assembled in their office. And they said they took a lot of important decisions on the design of the bridge based on the qualitative analysis they did with Mola. Based on stability, construction process, and a lot of different steps in this process. And this is in the phase of starting building the bridge. So maybe this will be the first.
That'd be awesome.
I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So cool.
Well, my grandfather always said to know people smarter than me, and I would like to say I now know one more person smarter than me. Marcio, it's been really nice to meet you and have you on the show.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to share a little bit what we are doing.
Yeah.
Thank you for the space here.
Oh, you're more than welcome. We hope to meet in person soon.
Yes.
Awesome. Hey, thanks a million.
Thank you.
Hey, what a great show. What a great guest. It was really nice to have Marcio Sequeira with Mola. I mean, it was really cool. I hit the spring on my thing. Hey, it's the
springs.
Mola. Yeah. Now that we know,
the Mola.
Hey, now I know how to say spring in Brazilian.
Oh, that's true.
In Brazil, sorry.
In Portuguese.
Yeah, that's cool.
I know.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed that interview. What a super great human being, and he's done some amazing stuff. He's stuck with it. I'm impressed with the crowdfunding stuff, the crowdsourcing, and it really shows the true intent of that and how powerful it can be. And it's kind of a lesson to all of you listening. If you're a young entrepreneur, an old entrepreneur, just someone looking to do it. Wow, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And don't forget to visit their website, which is Mola Model, MOLAMODEL.com. It's got the history, the story about what they do, their team, and everything that's going on, and how he developed this, and how he did this over his lifetime. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, and they also have some examples of different real world structures that you can recreate using their kits. So
isn't that cool?
I mean, it's amazing.
I know, and now I'm going to have to save up my coinage and buy me a kit.
Yes.
Trust me, my wife's going to be, now what is this with the Legos and everything else? There's my thing is to mix
you and your
two.
toys.
I'm going to build a cool suspension brig with Lego cars on it. You watch me.
Hey, there you go. Hey, listen, better Mola than spending my money on a Corvette. So,
well, that's ain't nobody around here got no Corvette money. Although I did see one the other day parked on the street, and it had the glass top over the back.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's really smooth. Yeah. I don't know what the purpose of it is. I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
I've got this 2-seater sports car with a glass covered engine in the back, and you know what? I have cured what?
To me, I know we're way bird walking over here, but it's okay. And I promise we are wrapping up. But I do have to say, to me, that's the equivalent of when you go past car dealerships and they have all the hoods open. I've never understood that. What you're showing me, it has an engine. I sure hope so. I don't know.
I told my dad the other day he has a little small used car dealership, and he's going to start selling some older cars. People want him to sell cars, like he's going to have a 68 Charger and stuff like that. And he has a building downtown that has some glass windows in it, and he's going to put one in there like a showroom. I said we got to figure out how to build a platform so it'll slowly just rotate like it would in the 50s and 60s. Rotate around.
We're going to use Mola to figure that out.
Yeah, sure we are. We're going to use a weed eater engine and some old fan belts. So. This is South, boy. We know how to do that stuff. Get me a couple weed eater engines and some fan belts, and
we're just going to take a zero turn, turn it upside down, and let that sucker run.
Put a wagon wheel on top of it and some plywood. And we got ourselves a rotating auto presenting panel. I don't know what it is. Hey, I am so sorry I let that get out of hand. That was all on Jeff.
This is the longest wrap up we've ever had, and we appreciate you coming along for the ride.
Hey, listen, thank you for listening to the show. Please listen to the past shows, the future shows, all of our conference coverage. It's a whole nother thing.
Oh, yeah.
You go out to the web and look up EduTechGuys conference coverage. If you'd like some 15-minute, really quick, this is what happened at a conference, and companies and services and people and educators, and it's a lot of fun. But once again, thanks for showing up. And you know what? I'm Jeff Madlock.
And I'm David Henderson.
And we'll catch you on the next time.
You've been listening to the EduTech Guys, edutechguys.com.